When I asked Anthony to be on my show, he jumped at the opportunity and said, "We need to do the G-Wagon." But before we get to this sturdy box on wheels, let's talk Mercedes. When you think of Mercedes-Benz, you think of ooh la la German luxury. You might think of its race heritage or F1's Lewis Hamilton. You may think of their ultra high-end brand Maybach, or what it takes to engineer one of those old cream-colored diesel Benzes with 1,000,000 miles on them. One thing that cannot be denied is that German engineering runs through the oil in their incredibly designed cars. I mean, what else would you expect from the company that actually invented the automobile? Enter the 2024 AMG G63. Yowza! This vehicle has muscle, it has class, it's a status symbol, it's a fashion icon, and in my opinion, it may be the best German military-looking vehicle or SUV ever. Only the Germans could refine a metal box, throw some 22-inch forged AMG crossbow wheels on it, and create a savage like this. If I could describe the G63 in one word, it would be chunky. And I don't mean chubby, I mean chunky. To be fair, it does weigh close to 6,000 pounds.
That's a write-off?
But the hand-built twin-turbo 4-liter German V8 pushes all that weight with 577 pissed-off ponies and a thunder-rattling 627 pound-feet of torque. Think about it. The G63 has 50 more pound-feet of torque than it has horsepower. All that power gets the AMG G63 from 0 to 60 in a scorching 4 seconds. Imagine something as aerodynamic as a Rubik's Cube hauling ass through the quarter mile in 12.5 seconds. Let me get a hell yeah. The truth is, I love the shape of this car. It's so iconic and so damn handsome. It's like if Brad Pitt was an actual SUV. Let's get to the sweet deets. This one comes with the Designo Cardinal Red Metallic, a $2,300 option, with a baller-looking silver brush guard. Such a nice touch. The exclusive interior package has everything you desire. The two-tone macchiato beige and espresso brown with quilted diamonds, the matching dashboard, and that chunky AMG performance steering wheel, all wrapped in AMG exclusive Napa leather. As my Mexican mother-in-law would say, híjole! Not drooling yet? How about the Burmeister surround sound, flat screens for all your gauges, infotainment, and vehicle settings? How about the AMG Speed Shift 9-speed tranny, AMG Dynamic Select, AMG Ride Control, AMG Performance exhaust tips shooting out the side, screaming 14 miles per gallon? How about all-wheel drive, sequentially locking differentials, Apple CarPlay, those round LED daytime driving lights, room for all your and a license to go pretty much anywhere on the planet? Sign me up. The G63 is audacious yet refined. It makes a statement, but it's not ostentatious. It has a ridiculous reliability rating and a resale value for a car, and it is easily the best German SUV by a long shot. The Mercedes-Benz AMG G63 brings the business, and this week it's taking us straight to the heart of Des Moines, Iowa.
Anthony Gladney.
Peter Duffy, what's going on?
Well, I'm in Iowa, and it is very flat, but the people are so nice, I feel like I'm in Canada.
What are you doing here?
I heard the Midwest is nice this time of year. I'm kidding. I came to see you.
No way. All the way from California? I feel special.
You are special. Somehow, 6 years ago, you took a chance on me to work with you, and I wanted to come by, talk some shop, and take you for a cup of coffee.
Oh man, that's a great idea. I golfed 9 holes early this morning, had all the meetings I can handle, and I need a little caffeine.
Say no more. I'll see you in about an hour.
Awesome. I'll see you soon, Peter.
I'm Peter Duffy, and this is Dealers in Cars Getting Coffee. And this is Des Moines, Iowa. It's famous for its political caucuses. It's the land of corn. The people are more genuine than anywhere else in the United States, and it has the world's largest wooden nickel.
Wow.
And geographically, well, it's as flat as a pancake. I've been coming to Iowa since about 2018, when I had the opportunity to work with my next guest, Mr. Anthony Gladney. Anthony took a chance on me and Dealer Image Pro when he was the Lithia campus general manager for Audi, VW, and Acura stores just outside of this capital city. I've worked with Anthony for years now, and since then, he settled right in as the general manager of Lithia's Mercedes-Benz of Des Moines. For Anthony, being a general manager is more than just running a good business for shareholders. At the root of the job, being a great GM is going the extra mile for the customer, handling their needs with grace, and not only keeping your dealership team happy, but creating a place where they can feel like they can thrive under good leadership. If America runs on Duncan, then Anthony runs on leadership and customer service. Anthony has a kind, sharp, and calm demeanor. He works when he's not working, he knows his repeat customers by name, and when they call on Sunday, he answers. When he's not doing the automotive hustle, he's skiing with his children and raising a beautiful family with his wonderful wife. Now let's pop over to Mercedes-Benz of Des Moines for our interview with the one and only Mr. Anthony Gladney. Mr. Gladney.
Peter Duffy.
How are you, man?
Welcome to Des Moines,
Good to see
Iowa.
you. Thanks.
Great seeing you.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Thanks. So you started out as a young adult as a bartender. How do you go from bartender all the way to a general manager of a major franchise auto dealership?
Isn't that the normal process to go through?
That's what I'm seeing the common thread, yeah.
Yeah, right? A lot of drinking in our business, right? I started out really in hospitality industry.
Okay.
I was a waiter, I was a host, became a bartender, and in college I was looking for, a more serious job, a little more stable, so I was paying my way through school.
How old are you at this point?
Oh, I was 21, almost 22 at the time, and my mom's best friend from high school, she had said, hey, my future son-in-law, sales manager at a Jeep dealership. You should go see him. You'd be great in sales. So I put on my one wedding suit that I owned and headed down to the Jeep dealership, and that started my sales career.
When we first met, you were over here at the Lithia campus with Audi, Volkswagen, and Acura. And you were kind of overseeing all three stores at that point. How'd you jump from that Ford store to those three?
There's something to be said about working for a family business. Blood's thicker than water. And I just saw the writing on the wall that I wasn't going to advance my career anymore working for the family business. Too many owners' kids in the way. So I decided I want to work for a corporation, a public dealer group. And I was very fortunate to get interviewed by Lithia. We realized that there was a connection and there was a good fit. My boss had said, hey, geographically, where do you want to move? And I said, well, my wife and I would like to move to the Denver market. We love skiing and outdoors, and we can still vacation in warm climates.
Iowa?
Nope. So he says, that's a great plan. How about Spokane, Washington, or Des Moines, Iowa? And I'm from Chicago. I'm like, oh, these are my options.
Yeah,
so
right.
Des Moines was a 4.5-hour drive back home for holidays, so I figured this is where I'm going to settle in.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So that's how I ended up at the Johnston campus running those stores. Did that for 5 years. And then back in 18.
That's where we met.
That's where we met. That's where you set up the photo booth and went up in the attic at Volkswagen. And we were
that
just talking about.
That was the dirtiest job I've ever had in my life. So you're over there for 5 years, and then this opportunity at Mercedes turns up.
Turns up, yep. My boss had said, hey, what are you thinking about going over to Mercedes? And I'm like, nah, I kind of like where I'm at. I kind of like what I'm doing over here.
And you did like Audi as the brand.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. So it took a little bit of convincing. And but once I came over here and realized what this brand was all about, the opportunity, much bigger facility, bigger operation, I jumped in with both feet, and it's been phenomenal ever since.
Okay, so now you're here. And how long have you been here? About
6 years.
About 6 years. What do you think is the most important aspect that you as a leader need to bring to the table daily? Like, what is your leadership style here at Mercedes in Des Moines?
I think the key to success is, hire good people, train them, show them what you expect. I do it through demonstration. I've sold cars. I was a finance manager. I've done these roles. So I can sit down with somebody and show them how to do that. So once you show them, I think the key as a leader, get out of the way.
So lead by example.
Yep.
Well, hire the right people, then lead by example.
Lead by example, show them what you want, but then let them do their job. Don't micromanage, don't yell when they make a mistake. Maybe guide and teach them and coach them a little bit, but people are going to fail. As long as they don't fail too big, let them fail quickly, and then let's get them back on track. Because if you don't make a mistake, you're never gonna grow. So I like to give people a little bit of latitude, and I think autonomy is earned as they grow, as they get a little better at it. You give them a little bit more. And if you do that long enough and you really coach and mentor your people, before you know it, you've got your next up-and-comer ready to go.
So essentially, I mean, you are always trying to find people better than you even, right? Like you want that.
In a pro athletic team, don't you want to have the best players around you? Doesn't that elevate the team?
Sure.
Nick Saban, I saw in an interview saying, are you too hard on your players? And he had said,
mediocre people don't like high achievers. And high achievers don't like mediocre people.
Think about that. So if I surround myself with the best people possible, it elevates me, elevates the team, and we succeed better.
I have a business coach right now. There's like kind of the ceiling that I've reached, not in terms of my skill set, because I am always learning, but he's like kind of made me take my entire team and kind of grade the A, B, C players, and he also says the same thing. Like the A players, they can coach B pluses, right? But once you get down to C players, it doesn't always, they don't want to spend the time doing that. They'd rather spend the time working on things that provide enterprise value for the business as a whole, right?
What do you do with the C players that aren't performing?
I think there's a place for some of them in entry-level work. Usually, or at least he describes to me, as a C player is a person that you can give a set of tasks to, they will get that done. If they don't get that done, that's a D player, right? You don't even want that person on your team. But a C player won't come back to you and go, I'm all set, what else do you have, right? If you fill a C player full of work, and I don't want to say like, you should all hire C players, but the truth is not everyone is A players. I think A players should be up in the leadership roles of the organization or the management roles of the organization, right? Wouldn't it be wonderful if you had all A players? And I think that's semi-realistic if you keep going long enough. But it does, it happens, I think.
I think the culture brings the top performers to you, right?
This is true.
If you are a top performing organization, you have a good culture and good people want to come work for you.
How do you grow within your market to make the business bigger? How do you continuously keep topping revenue, not just to make Lithia happy, but to grow the business as a whole?
You run the basics of your business, right? The ABCs, the blocking and tackling of your business, and I think that's going to get you to a certain level. And then to grow from there, you have to probably look at, procurement of your inventory, your advertising, partner with a great photo company so your pictures are the best online, right? That's
Click the link in the bio to see how we can transform your car photos today.
You're going to hit a plateau, right?
Okay.
The market's going to give you so much.
That's what I was saying. Like you must hit a plateau, right?
So you got to look at some local metrics. What is your market share? What is your competition doing? There are stores within our company that are up 125% in a down market, in a down year. Well, how did they do that? Did they suck the year before and now they suck less this year and look better?
Right.
Or did they really, really push through and grow? And that it's hard. I think the biggest challenge, like today, used car inventory procurement.
Okay.
To buy used cars today at a reasonable price and turn them for a profit. You ask anyone in the auto industry, I think that's the hardest thing to overcome right now.
Going back to your team, what ways do you incentivize the sales team or the service team to increase revenue so that you can continue to grow as well?
Incentives are really challenging. When I sold cars, I was motivated by the almighty dollar. On a Saturday, I wanted to get that cash spiff. I wanted to have, some going out money.
Yeah.
And that really motivated me to sell cars. Cash doesn't do it anymore, I don't think. The younger generation, I think they value other benefits other than the money.
Like what? Like good place to work, culture?
Yeah, not so much that, but you hit a bonus level, maybe you get a weekend off. Maybe we give you a nice car to drive and you can go out and give you some baseball tickets or something like that.
Okay.
There's other perks, I think, that come into play other than your traditional, hey, if you sell X number of cars, I'm going to give you this envelope of cash.
Those are good ideas.
And I think the same thing with service. You have a service advisor. So you say, hey, I want you to sell X number of tires and alignments this month, and if you do that, I'll give you $50. I mean, does that motivate them? Well, what else could we do that motivates them? We've got a service advisor that goes camping, loves to go camping. You know what he would give to have a weekend off, an extra day off to go camping?
Right.
That motivates him.
A 3-day weekend instead of a 2 or whatever that might be.
But it's knowing what motivates your people. Everybody is different. So
That's
if you take
back to leadership, right?
If you take a one-size-fits-all approach, that's not going to work. So it's knowing individually what works. I got one technician, Johnny, loves AHL hockey. We're a sponsor of the Iowa Wild. Okay. Loves hockey. I give him box seats. I give him tickets. That motivates him.
And how are you digitally marketing to those people? Is it just like stuff that Lithia, products that Lithia are giving to you? And obviously you don't have to name products or anything, but what's working best in terms of digital marketing?
Having your cars online as quickly as possible, price them correctly. I think the basics, good pictures, good price, get them online quickly, but be where the customers are. Just make sure you are where the customers are searching. That's always changing a little bit. Yeah, you got your car gurus and your cars.com.
Managing online, that reputation probably is good, right? People don't want to do business with a 2-star.
You know what works well for us is our vehicle listing ads on Google. They perform tremendously.
Okay.
It's a great cost for us. Every single month the metrics are fantastic, so we crank it up each and every month. We did a couple years ago, we looked at our marketing budget and we were tasked with reducing it by 10%. So we looked at the overlap. We looked at, and there's good vendors out there, Auto Trader, cars.com, Car Gurus, and I made a decision to remove one of them from the mix. I won't say which.
Yeah.
We removed one from the mix. Do you think sales went up or down?
Same.
Went up.
Up.
Went up.
Why?
I don't know. I'm a good car guy.
No.
Because it has nothing. Because it has
why?
nothing to do with that particular vendor. There's a ton of overlap. You're going to get that customer. It's having the right cars, right? The right cars, good cars, priced right, good photos.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm on 10 different endemic sites. No. Be on a couple of relevant ones and be where the people are. Search online. Have a good reputation.
Sure.
And you don't need them all.
What do you say we go get this coffee?
Sounds like a deal. Let's
Fair
go.
enough, buddy. Let's go. One of the common threads that I've seen in all the shows that I've done so far have been the tremendous opportunity that there is in automotive for a young person. I don't want to say you don't have to have a lot of education, but you can walk right out of high school pretty much, even now, and you can work your way up through automotive. And I'm just curious what your take is on that.
Yeah, I think when you look at kids coming out of school, if you're not going through traditional four-year college,
Not everyone wants to do that.
right, or going through a trade school, I think the auto industry gives you tremendous opportunity in different fields. There are a lot of general managers within our company that started out as a lot attendant washing cars at 18 years old, and they're running stores right now.
I'm seeing that.
Well, that shows you that, some dedication, some hard work, good customer service, you can advance your career and have options. I've got some people that start on the sales side of the business and they realize that that's not really for them, and they transition maybe over to the service side, and they're very, very successful. I've got some technicians that are young, in their 30s, that decided, hey, you know what? This is hard on my body. I don't want to do this anymore, but I can really be a service writer. The business gives everybody an opportunity, no matter your skill set, your educational background, an opportunity to be successful and to be able to grow.
Give me an example of someone that you coached on a personal level in the industry. I know I have team members or employees that probably live paycheck to paycheck. I've spoken with them in depth and tried to coach them that way. What's your experience with that?
There is one particular instance I can remember of a salesperson that he wasn't very well rounded. He was like an unmade bed. He wasn't very educated.
An unmade bed.
Yeah, he was just a slob, and no one had any vested interest in him. And for whatever reason, I liked the guy. He was a good guy. He was, he's just a nice guy, but he needed some direction. So I worked with him for a long time.
Personally, like one-on-one?
One-on-one on sales training, dealing with customers, overcoming objections, how to communicate with the customer, how to go on a test drive. And we did, and I said, you just need to be very, very strict with the process. Don't deviate, do this. This is exactly what you need to do. And I tell you, in about 3 months, he became the top salesperson.
Really?
Cleaned himself up, bought himself a new tie, everybody was good. And he came to me in my office and he says, I just want to personally thank you for changing my life, because what you've done for me is amazing, and no one had any interest in spending the amount of time that you did, and I appreciate that. And to me, to this day, it was like one of the most heartfelt, warm moments that I changed somebody's life to the better. And Zig Ziglar says, you can have anything in life you want if you can help enough other people get what they want.
That is the opportunity I was talking about in the car.
Yeah.
You don't get that a lot of other places, and I think it isn't inherent that people or other leaders or managers or whatever want to do bad by their subordinates or anything like that. I think that they get caught up in their life. I think there's just a variety of reasons they don't take the time to actually work with someone like that. So yeah, cheers to you. Taking someone under your wing and being able to change their life, and then seeing the result and then having them come back to you is pretty rewarding.
The Audi dealership, we had hired a staff when we were still in the Volkswagen building, and we identified, okay, this is our roster of everyone that's going into the Audi building as soon as it comes online. So we moved in, and a salesman comes over, and my general sales manager looks over, he goes, hey, he's not on the roster. I said, well, I thought you told him to come over. He's like, no, I thought you did. And he's undoing his stuff, putting his pencils away, putting his stapler out. He's moving in. He's not on the roster.
You mean like he's not your employee?
No, he was a Volkswagen employee. We were either going to terminate him or keep him at Volkswagen. He was not coming with us to the Audi building.
Oh my God.
But he showed up. And
Yeah.
so we're like, well, do we just tell him to go back? I mean, that's kind of rude. We kind of feel bad. So we just kind of left him. We're like, well, we'll just kind of figure this out together.
Yeah.
And we did some more training with him, started selling some cars. Customers loved him. His customer scores were off the chart. Started buying a couple of suits, getting a little confidence, selling some more cars. Top performer. Top performer that we didn't identify or didn't coach and train and give the opportunity, and by mistake, he becomes one of the top producers.
Just by chance.
Yeah.
Did he know he wasn't supposed to come over?
So he didn't get the memo, and I was sure to tell him years after that. I said, hey, you know something? You weren't supposed to be here. We were going to kind of either terminate you or keep you over there and let you rot, but I'm glad we took you on. I mean,
Let you rot.
We joke with him a little bit, but you just never know. But I made a mistake. I didn't identify that person had potential or gave him an opportunity. So I think sometimes you got to take a little bit of a risk, give everyone an opportunity. Maybe they succeed. What's the worst thing that happens?
What did you change differently in the future from that situation? How did you approach a situation like that, from then until now?
I think, when in my mind, if I don't think someone's got the potential, just, maybe take a step back, maybe get someone else's opinion. And then sometimes, here, we had two managers, me and my partner decided that person wasn't going to make the roster, so two of us made a mistake. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of a chance and a little bit of a risk and see. And you're not always going to be successful, but don't be afraid to fail. Don't fail too big. Don't let someone fail for too long.
Yeah.
But what a great story when you give someone an opportunity and then they perform and they have a great successful career. But what about the people you didn't give the chance to? What happened to them?
Yeah.
Did anyone give them a chance? Someone gave me a chance.
At some point.
I'm still employed. I think I'm doing okay, but someone gave me a chance. So I do like to give people the opportunity.
So we ask all of the guests on the show this, but tell me about the most bizarre or craziest story you've had in automotive.
So yeah, one of the craziest stories just happened a few years ago here at Mercedes. Guy comes in on a Saturday, wants to look at a G-Wagon, looks at it, says, man, I love it, this is great. I just sold my business, I've got a bunch of capital, let's do it, but I gotta run, I'm gonna go look at a house that I'm gonna buy, and then I'll come back and we'll finish the deal. Leaves, comes back, yep, bought the house, let's do this deal. By the way, I like that E63 over there, let me buy that too. I'm like, oh, you don't prejudge, the guy, jeans, t-shirt, whatever, okay, fine. He's gonna go to the bank.
But your antennas are sticking up at this point.
Little bit, the hair's in the back of your neck, so okay, let's vet this, let's make sure it's good. So I said, we'll do the paperwork today, bring me cashier's checks on Monday, you pick up the two cars, no problem. Comes back Monday, 2 cashier's checks in hand from a local bank.
Which means that he put the money up and the bank gave him a check.
In his account, he took the money out. So far I'm feeling good about this, right?
Right.
Brings his mom, he goes, I wanna buy my mom that convertible. Buys the convertible, goes back to the bank, gets a 3rd cashier's check. So we're talking $150,000 for a G-Wagon, $130,000 for an E63, and $120,000 for an SL 450.
So almost $500,000 worth of cars.
Yep, cashier's check from it all. Took delivery of them, everything's great. 3 days later, office manager calls me, hey, we got a problem. The bank stopped payment on those cashier's checks. I'm like, oh no. So now, the stomach's churning. I'm like, I just knew something was just a little odd with this guy. So we call the bank. The bank says, come down to the bank with all of your paperwork. So office manager goes to the bank, all the deals, explains everything that happened. A few minutes go by. They come out with 1 certified check.
Yep.
To cover all 3 purchases. And they said there was some confusion regarding the account. So we're good. We got our money.
Right.
All done. That's not the end of it. Month later, get a door knock. And I look up in my office and there's 3 trench coats in my doorway.
Oh man.
With a subpoena in their hand. Mr. Gladney.
30 days later.
Yep, we need to see these 3 deals. We'll be back tomorrow. Next day comes, I got the 3 deals, I got all the paperwork. And one of the guys was kind of lingering. I'm like, can you tell me what's happened? And he's like, well, he's from the IRS. Like we had FBI, Treasury Department, and IRS. So the IRS.
Those are the big 3, man. They're like legal gangsters.
Yeah. So the IRS guy goes, well, we kind of have egg on our face, which is why the FBI is here, the Treasury Department. You see, your customer submitted falsified tax returns and received a $9 million refund and has been spending money like crazy. They said that's not the worst part about it. The worst part was the IRS issued the refund within 2 weeks of him submitting it.
Oh my God.
I said, I think you guys owe me $50 from 1980. What the hell are you doing? I mean, how could you do that? How do you give a guy $9 million?
In 2 weeks.
So I get subpoenaed to go to court, and this dummy represents himself.
No legal representation.
No, I think you got like 14 or 16 years. I'm like, holy cow. You know, you got to do your due diligence because because someone wants to come in and pay cash, you got to make sure it's not drug money, this and that. But you know, when someone brings money from their bank
and a check from their
the bank's got a duty to report all that. You think it's good?
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you, Anthony. We've known each other a long time. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And
I can't wait to see the finished product.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.